Whew. Alrighty, everybody. What a game. I tried to stay calm for most of that game, but I swear, at the end of that, I was dying. I was not doing well. My heart is in shambles, but now I guess I'm happy. Wow, what a game. I mean, that's a game. It was ugly at times, but that was incredible. To see us win that in that way too. Timberwolves, that's you saw so many of those moments where the Timberwolves would do their typical, like, oh well, we were up by 20, now we're down one, and we go through that whole thing. And there was so many moments, especially with like 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Towns is starting to foul, like Vanderbilt's starting to get a lot of fouls, and we're just having like a hard time getting anything going. I think we had no offense for most of the fourth quarter, and I mean the third for that matter. I guess I didn't even look at the stats quarter by quarter, but it did not seem good. Yeah, the third quarter we had 16 points, and the fourth we ended up getting 28. But man, yeah, the refs were insane tonight. Mainly towards the Timberwolves, but I mean there were a couple calls both ways that were like, what are we talking about here? But man, D'Lo, obviously the star of the night. He basically won us the game like 3 or 4 separate times. he had 3 or 4 game-winning shots in this game. Wow, that was just unbelievable. I'm speechless because that is not a game that you typically see the Timberwolves win. Need an above A1 tier for D'Lo. Honestly, I mean that is something that needs to happen tonight. He was just too critical. I mean, we don't have D'Lo. We definitely aren't winning this game, and we're nowhere close to even being anywhere near where we need to be. Oh my god. But before we get too deep into everything, if you're new here, or if you're not new here, leave a like on the stream, sub to the channel. Last time we had 6 cents from the Charlotte Hornets, so if you're a 76ers fan here, don't worry. It's a safe space for everyone. But yeah, it's just crazy. I have to like wrap my head around the game. I went live immediately after the game, or I was probably on slightly delay, and 6 cents is here. Holy cow, welcome back. But yeah, this was a Christian, this was a classic Timberwolves loss, but we won. And I think there's in part the 76ers did give it away at some points, but the 76ers also fought tooth and nail for this. They had the crazy tip in that reminded me of like that OKC Dennis Schroeder lay in at the very end where it's like, this is impossible. Of course this goes against the Wolves. This is just one of those typical Wolves things where it's like, of course they make it. Not only do they get an attempt at it, they get the rebound and they make it. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Refs. Oh, Anthony Bennett should be on the tier list. He should be a tier on the tier list. That's actually pretty good. Patrick Beverly just tweeted out D'Lo tough and 3 gorilla emojis. Oh, D'Lo. We actually got a new D'Lo. What is his little thing that he points to his wrist? We got a new one of those tonight. We'll have to use that. Put that in something. Let's see. Ref saved the day for Embiid out. And they are fully rostered minus Simmons. That is true. They actually did have everybody. They need Simmons badly. They really do. I mean, I think it goes to show you that I think Embiid's a good player, but I do think that it's tricky. I don't know if he was bailed out lots of times tonight, but they were cut. It's more of a matter of them calling touch fouls on us on defense. But then when we go down, we get hammered, and there's just nothing, And not even hammered, we get touch fouls that go both ways. We just never get those calls. And I don't know if it's because we argue the calls or if it's something else. But, my God, insane. Okay, headshot, I said this was a safe spot for Philadelphia, but I guess that shouldn't be, really. It really should not be a safe spot for Philadelphia, because when have they ever treated us with any respect? Oh my gosh, Jake Erickson, that D'Lo screen, what are we talking about? That is the most, that's got to be one of the worst fouls this year, besides the 3 or 4 fouls this year where we literally have not touched the defender at any point in the possession. Now, I don't mean like a small touch there, but it's a foul. No, literally none. That is probably the worst. Oh, man. No headshot. We should probably be mean. But there were 4 bad calls like that almost back to back. Yes. Oh my gosh. And then the ball went off of Embiid and they just quickly, similar to like the Ant dunk the other night, they just quickly put it back in bounds and gave him the chance. What are we talking about? Unbelievable. Unbelievably terrible game from the refs. A great game from both teams though. I mean, like even though Embiid was getting bailed out by a lot of calls, he was making just tough shot after tough shot. Nas was guarding him great in the overtimes. We were even doubling him. He was just making it over our perfect defense. You know, we were playing. He was, especially one of those last two, or the 2 last shots that he made. Nas is in his face as much as he can be without fouling him. I don't know, other than actually fouling him, I don't think there's anything else he could have done. It was crazy. But Embiid did great. Also, Embiid played so much after being gone for 9. Yeah, exactly, Gerald. He played 45 minutes and looked unbelievably tired the entire game, and he stuck it out. Insane. But Jeremiah Rogers, I was raised by the Wolves. Welcome. Headshot, what did you say to get... I don't even know if I have restrictions on words in the chat. Let's see. He looked insane for being off for 3 weeks. Yeah, no, that's what I just said. I bet Maxey scored hella for my fantasy. Yeah, I should take a look. I don't think I did. I did a really small fantasy thing tonight because I was like, I don't have that much faith in the team. Yeah, I finished like 50%. I had Maxey. Maxey had 34 points on DraftKings. Oh man, that wasn't... I needed more. Needed way more. But holy cow, what a game. I'm still speechless, you know. I mean, we had interesting... The thing with our big 3 is that we seem to have moments where each one of them kind of takes over individually. We still don't have them all clicking at the same time. You know, like Towns had the dominant first quarter, along with Edwards kind of going into like the late first quarter into second quarter a little bit, I think, or maybe it was all first quarter. But then you have D'Lo obviously finishing off the game, and then you have Ant, who was pretty non-existent for most of the game tonight, makes the biggest defensive Taj Gibson-esque blocking Jokic play at the end of the game. It was crazy. Edwards was our best plus minus. Yeah, I was kind of, you know, I meant to, I don't know if, because I was talking to, I can't remember their name, Street History on Twitter. I didn't get a chance to respond to them because I was too busy watching the game. But they're far more thinking that Towns is like a better player than Edwards. And I think they, more so, my argument was with them saying like, they were like, oh, like Cat is the better player. And maybe right now, but like, I think in the future, that's just not the case. But anyways, we're getting too deep into a conversation that we could talk about at a later time. Holy cow. Been wearing whatever jerseys that we are playing in for the game, so it's not far. Oh, okay, he's got you 6-0. I like that. Love that Ant can be great defensively and when he goes quiet offensively. That's a good point because he does. I think Ant's defense has fallen off a little, just a tiny bit over the last few games, but he obviously clutched up late game for us. And I mean, he only had 1 personal foul tonight, so he could have been a little bit more aggressive at times. But also, I mean, these overtimes are tricky because you get into the bonus so quickly. But helps us until he finds that. Yeah, he needs to find the consistency because he only shot 8 of 21 tonight. But holy cow, we got a lot of people here. If you're new here, leave a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel. We do this after every Timberwolves game. But wow, and usually it's me and Ashwin. But Austin, welcome to the chat. F them refs. I agree. What are we talking about? That was, I mean, just a terrible game. Absolute Glenn Taylor or Wancho tier for the refs tonight. We got to get a refs picture in there. Oh my gosh, we have to. It's happening. I mostly think the defensive lapses are from a lack of focus and energy. Yeah, it's weird because I can't tell if Ant is like confused or overwhelmed or if he's actually tired, you know. But 6th Sense, we actually do have a Discord that we've kind of been using privately, but we will be getting it. Would anybody else be interested in a Discord? Because we can open that up. Me and Ashwin just talking it the whole time, but we can open it up to everybody if that's something that people would be interested in. I have no experience running a Discord, but let me know. But yes, Discord. Okay, interesting. We can do that. Come back to the next stream because I'll have some plans in it for then. Okay, wow, everybody, jeez Louise, we have private conversations there. We talk about each one of you individually and say everything that we hate. Nope. Jeremiah Rogers, love this. I've been looking for something like this for a while. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you. I can help you run the Discord if you need me to. Okay, I will definitely hit you up, Headshot. But yeah, also surprise Balmaro minutes. I could not believe when Balmaro came in the first quarter. I thought they were mistaking it for even Jake Layman before I thought we were going to see Balmaro minutes. But Balmaro comes in, and actually he played pretty good defense, surprisingly. Pretty wild. I was not expecting good defense from him. Did we end up getting Arby's tonight? This is random. I don't ever get the Arby's. I just look for the tickets. We didn't get Arby's, did we? Oh my goodness. Oh, we did, and there's tickets available. Holy cow. Everybody go to the Timberwolves app. There's tickets available. Grab them now. Let's see if there's any. You have to pay $1. Yeah, it's for. Let's see. Okay. All upper deck though. Actually, I'm not going to do this because I already have the season ticket thing for the full court pass thing, so I don't need this. This is okay. Okay. Anyways, but you can get free tickets. Another great reason to sub to the show. Austin, subscribe to the show. I appreciate it. Thank you. I got to put the alerts thing in here. But yeah, if you go to the Timberwolves app, go to the Arby's section where they say we have the threes or whatever, and you'll get some free tickets, free upper deck tickets, but still free tickets. Austin, I'm gonna try to replay your alert. Does it work? Hey, there it is. We got Arby's and $1 tickets. All right. Well, I appreciate the subscription. We're trying to get to 100 before halfway through the season. You know, we took us all year on Twitch to get to 100, so we're already at 66. We got to get to 69 soon. So 2 more people, please. Okay. Anyways, Balmaro minutes, crazy. Vanderbilt is honestly, I mean, other than D'Lo tonight, the MVP. When he went off the floor, I don't know how his plus minus isn't higher, but man, the next game, good question, Christian, because I was just about to look at that and then I got distracted by Arby's. So our next game, it probably isn't for a while, right? Maybe it is. No, it's Monday. I'm actually going to be at that game. I'm going to be at the Pacers game on Monday night. Whoa. Man, I'm sure it gets lost, but I run the Pat Bev Mentality Twitter. Oh, really? I got to follow you back. Let me do that right now before I forget. But it was, I mean, geez Louise. The Vando minutes are just insane. Whew. I'm all in on Vando right now. All in on Vando. Pat Bev Mentality. Hey, followed you back. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, boycott Lifetime always because I had so many good tickets to all these games. I hate you, Lifetime. I don't even care if you want to sponsor the show sometime. I hate you. No sponsorship unless you give me my tickets back. I had center court, lower bowl for the Heat game, I think. God. Never unforgivable. Anyways, man, what a game. What a game. Oh, Balmaro is better than Okogie, no cap. Maybe. Okogie's useful in certain situations. He used to be somebody that we threw in every game for energy, like we do with Vando. And Vando's shot making ability and lack of taking shots. Not that we expect him to take jump shots, but like he's right under the rim sometimes, and he just can't make layups. But yes, Tovex, Balmaro is better than Okogie. Yeah, you said that, Dassy. Austin, I'm so in on Vando right now. Yes. Oh my gosh, my aunt clutched up. She's got season tickets, gets half off of jerseys. Got me an Ant remix jersey. Oh my gosh. Shout out Lynn if you're watching. Oh my gosh. Best aunt award. You win. But anyways, Josh is falling out of this team lineup. He kind of is, which is sad because I love Josh. I think he's so cool. I mean, he gave me tickets earlier this year. but I do think he was cool. Do we have Vando on contract? Yes, we just signed, or for this season plus 2 more. I think that's how it is. It's at least for the season and the next. I don't know if it's the next one, though. But any trades we would like to make? You know, or 6, that's a good question. I don't know. Because, like, we're 500 right now, and we're looking pretty good. Pretty good, as in, like, good for the Timberwolves, because this is like a crazy season for the Timberwolves, you know. We haven't been this good since we had Jimmy Butler, which we'll never speak of again. But, yeah, we are... we're looking pretty good, but we're almost at the point, like, the West right now looks terrible. Like the West, there is nobody in the West that is super scary other than maybe, well, Golden State when Clay gets back. That'll be scary. And then the Suns are scary, but we almost beat the Suns. I mean, we held our own against the Suns, even on their win streak right now. But the West is easy. Yeah, I mean, what are we right now? So we're 10-10. I am not worried about the Lakers at all. We are the 7th seed right now, ahead of the Lakers. And we're actually tied with Portland. So we are currently 7.5 games back of first, which don't get your hopes up for that. But we are, let's see, we're 2.5 games back of the 3 seed. The 3 seed. What are we talking about? That's crazy. Oh man. So that's a good question that Six asks, is that like, okay, we're this good with the team that we have. Do we make a trade? Who would we trade though? You know, like obviously Jaden I think is available, but not really worth as much as he was. You could maybe trade a Beasley, but Beasley's been super valuable for us over this last run. So it's like hard to trade him unless you're getting back a player that can match his offensive output, or at least have some player that can do that. But, you know, and Gerald makes a good point. We need a backup point guard, and I still think McKinley Wright would be good. I liked having Balmero in there, but he's still really raw, and I've already talked about this. You know, he's raw. I mean, McKinley Wright's going to be raw too, but I think he might be less. J-Mac, Little Mac is just not cutting it right now, and maybe it's just a phase, but I also just think, I mean, he was like a backup to the backup to the backup, you know. And we put him out there as like the secondary one. So if we get Pat Bev back, we're feeling a lot better, but we can't rely on Pat Bev's health the entire season, nor can we really rely on D'Lo's health. So it would be great to have another point guard that was just a steady one. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. I've always wanted a player like, and I know this is the only reason I can say this is because Ashwin's not here, but like a DJ Augustine type of player. We need somebody that can like, they can score, but also is a facilitator, not necessarily like one way or the other. They can kind of be more of a combo guard, but they have to have decent ball handling skills. So it's hard to get, especially at this time of the year. You're gonna have to give up something, and maybe you could give up a draft pick for something like that. That might be good, but yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I got to catch up on chat. Would you say the East is better than the West? East is way better. I mean, speaking of Charlotte looks really good, you know. And I mean, D'Lo after the game said that we were better than Charlotte. I don't know if that's true. I think Charlotte and us are pretty comparable teams. Like Charlotte has a lot of wings and point guards that are really really skilled, but we have more of like the wing center kind of area. That, I mean, well, we're kind of balanced, but I think the talent is similar on the teams. You have some streaky shooters. We have some streaky shooters. Defensively, I think we're probably better, but I think offensively it's pretty close. I don't know, but you know, but anyways, regardless, I'm talking about Charlotte. You know, the East is strong, and I think Philadelphia looks really good, even though they don't have Ben Simmons. I think they need him. They're 10-10 right now, but I mean, they're still a formidable team, but they probably need to do something if they want to be back to where they were. You know, obviously they're not going to be able to do what they've wanted to do. They're not going to go to the finals with this team. You know, that's not going to happen. But they will go to the playoffs with this team. But I mean, we want more. So, or they want more. But you know, the East, I think there's just more teams in the East that are going to be like the Bulls. You could look at the Heat. Even, I mean, like the Wizards right now are playing well, which is weird. And then, I think there's just a lot of teams. Brooklyn, obviously, the Hawks, the Cavs look really good, even though the Cavs are 9-10. But I don't know. They have to get off that Tobias contract. Yeah, but Tobias is kind of a Timberwolves killer, so maybe they keep him in his back pocket for a Timberwolves. Although he didn't kill us tonight, I put him on my fantasy team because I thought he would. But sounds like Ben Simmons. Imagine if we scanned Philly for Simmons and Maxey and got Ben. If we got Ben, yeah, I know. I've thought about that. That would be insane. I don't know how we do that without giving up a ton. We'd have to have a third team that wants Jaden, wants Beasley, and wants a first-round pick badly, and then they have to have something that Philadelphia wants. But I'm not out on Ben Simmons yet, but I do like our team as constituted, and I think Vando is playing so well that it's almost like why would we need it? So give 3 picks. Yeah, but what's Philly going to do with those? You know? Yeah, I don't think we need to worry about the draft. And honestly, I'm kind of willing to, even though it's hard for a team like us to part with a pick, if we're getting close, I think we got to get closer to halfway through the season and still be 500, and feel really comfortable about the playoffs, which I guess we should. But we should probably be looking at moving at least this year's pick. I don't really want to move any previous or future year's pick just in case we tank out in the rest of the season or get injured or something crazy. But yeah, give up 3 picks for Ben and Maxi. Yeah, generational playoffs. That's true. It's interesting. I like these conversations, but you know, it is a great conversation to have. I mean, we're playing so well. We are 7th seed right now, floating around the anywhere from the 10 to like the 4 seed, honestly. And if we can keep playing 500, then it's maybe worth a conversation of buying this season, mid-season. So, what do you guys think? In one word, do you think we should be buying this season or staying put? Buying or doing nothing, move-wise? Do you think we should be aggressively buying? Or do you think we should be just like regular buying? Do you think we should like a backup point guard? Or should we be going like Ben Simmons type of deal? Or like Miles Turner, big deals? Or are we talking just small deals? Midseason lurking, I like that. 3 picks, Beasley and Jaden. Yeah. Charlotte mini question. With a defensive center big, oh sorry, I just went away. What would you suggest their ceilings are? Well, C6, I'm not a huge fan of having centers as like the center point of your team. Like I don't like having Towns be like the main player on our team, which is why I'm so high on Ant, because I think Ant has the ability to take this team to places that Towns couldn't bring it to. That's not to say that Towns isn't skilled and not like an insane freak of nature. I just think that a team built around a wing has the higher ceiling than a team that has even a defensive center. I would like to have, and this is a conversation for a different day because Towns played pretty good today. I mean, he played really good today. But I still would like to have more of a center in there that's a little bit more standard, closer to even like Nas, but maybe like Ayton or, you know, like even Valanciunas to some extent, you know, something like that. Just somebody that's like can bang down underneath the rim. Because Towns is a perimeter player. We need him to be taking more perimeter shots, though, if he's going to be a perimeter player. And right now he's trying to post up a little bit, which I like in theory. But with him, it's just not working. So, oh, man. Stay put. Okay. Wait until the trade deadline if you're 500 above, aggressively buy. Let's see. Get a decent back center. Nas is a good offensive player, but you need a big backup who could defend guys like Embiid or Jokic. Yep, Michael Che, welcome to the chat. Yes, you do. And I don't need to go too much into my Towns ranting and stuff like that, but I do think that somebody moving him. Okay, so Headshot says we should get Turner so we can move Cat to the power forward. Cat can't go down low. Yeah, exactly. Nas does look amazing, but if if we got a Miles Turner or somebody like that, then you have Nas as the backup, and Nas is incredible backup then to either one of those. So you have I love that lineup with Miles Turner. That's really interesting. But, and you know, Indiana could be a team that is willing to take back some picks instead of players, which would be really nice. Yeah. Yeah, if we can get Turner, I think that's something that we do. But I think, and it depends obviously on the price, because if they're asking a ton, which they may be, I don't know, it'll be tricky. But anyways, all right. Well, that was a fun combo. Let's get into the tier list because I am very excited to see the tier list tonight, and I think it'll be a really good tier list. Let me pull up the highlights as well and loop the video. Ba-ba-doo-bo. Okay, tier list, just me, and get the highlights. Man, the highlights, it's got to be hard to get all the highlights down into like a small enough thing tonight. All right, so did not plays tonight. Let me pull it back up. We only had 9 players play for us tonight. All of those players that came into the end of the game, so we didn't have any, obviously no McKinley Wright or Patrick Beverly, no Okogie, no Noel, no McLaughlin, no Lehman, no Knight. So all of them did not play. Honestly, I'm not even, maybe I will put him on there. But you're going to have to deal with me finding him on here because I struggle with it. Okay, so no Knight. I actually thought we were going to see Knight for a moment when Towns fouled out, and then Nas and Vando were super close. I was like, man, they just might do it. But they didn't. That's okay. And sorry, the highlights go out every single time I do this. But 9 and 3 of them fouled out. That's insane. Wow, I didn't even think about that. That is insane. All right, so we're going to start off with Bolmaro. First time getting a real fair shot at the tier list. He had 17 minutes, 3 points, 3 rebounds. He was 1 of 2 shooting. Had a couple shots that he maybe should have taken and didn't. Oops, I didn't play the highlights. Oopsies. There we go. Is this looping? Yes. But he had a couple shots or a couple opportunities to take shots and he didn't. And that was frustrating. Gerald says coaching today was so much better. It was, but Finch still had some bad things. Finch still had the moment at when they did the tip in at the end of the first overtime, I think. We had 1.2 on the clock and Finch didn't take a timeout and we had a timeout. So pretty crazy. But yeah, for Bolmaro, he played pretty well tonight. I think I would have liked more out of him, but I thought he actually had some pretty decent defense tonight. There was times where he was actually closing out on defenders and actually getting up and not fouling, which was nice. He is a +4, so he's one of the top players, and it kind of felt like it. When Bolmaro came out, that's when we started to play a little bit better, but then there were times later in the game where it wasn't the same case. But I do think that we probably want to give him a C tonight, just because obviously he didn't do anything insane, but he also didn't hurt the team that bad. But I think the biggest win out of all of it is that he was better than Jordan McLaughlin. So that's a huge win for him. And, holding your own against, we're playing a legit team, even though they're not as good as they used to be. I'm gonna say C. Some of you guys are saying B. B for Bolmaro. First real minutes. B. Wow, robbed. Maybe I don't know. He didn't really do much. I don't want to give him a B just because he played. I guess I did like his minutes. Surprisingly good on D, but timid on O. Exactly. But it was his first non-garbage time game. Yep. Jordan should never play. Charles Cobb. Thank you for coming in the chat. I think we're going to stay with C. We're going to mentally note it as a C+. C+. We'll all come to an agreement. All right. We're going to move on to Nas. Get your grades in for Nas Reed while I read off his stat line. Nas Reed, A, B, or A1. No, he's not A1. But, he's not A1. But get your grades in for Nas. Nas Reed played 20 minutes. God, it felt like he was out there for the entire night. Because he was out there for all his overtimes. He had 13 points, 5 rebounds. He was 6 of 9 shooting. He did have 5 personal fouls, but he had to hold his own against one of, if not the greatest center in the league, in Joel Embiid. So we've got Bolmaro should be A1 if we're being for real. I think we can count that in our hearts. Charles Cobb says B. Headshot says B+. Nas gets an A in my book for holding down the fort at the end of the game. He was looking good in attack mode. He was looking good in attack mode. B. I think give that man Nas an A. This is interesting. I'm on the fence. I am on the fence. A and B was kind of where I was thinking. He's not A1, but he had a lot of fouls, but he was in attack mode, just as Gerald says. JBX says B. 4 turnovers. He did have a few turnovers. Some of those were when he thought that. See, Jake, that's exactly where I am. It's either B or A-. And see, A for real. You know what? I think we are actually going to bump him up to an A tonight. Only because I'm on the fence and we won. And he was in the game for all of the overtimes because Cat was out. I think we're going to give him that little bit of extra because I think he's either a B+ or an A-. I think it's going to be an A. I think so. All right. A for Nas. And remember, C doesn't, if you guys are new here, C doesn't mean bad for Bolmaro. That just means we got kind of what we expected. Nothing too good, nothing too bad, kind of middle of the road. It looks bad when I have Nas up there right now, but C doesn't mean anything bad. It's fine. But I think it's okay to give him an A. But all those fouls were garbage taps on Embiid. They were. That is also true. All right. Next up, Yeah, he's on the screen. Next up, we got Malik Beasley. So 24 points. This has been a bad back-to-back for Malik Beasley. 5 points, 2 rebounds. Get your grades in for Malik Beasley. Grades in. I already kind of ruined it because I said it was a bad night, but it was. 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 of 6 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3. I will say the same kind of, I guess, praise that I've said towards other players when this happens is at least he's not having a good shooting night, but he's not continuing to shoot and take us out of the game. Same thing I've said with Ant. Same thing I've said with Cat to some extent. But yeah, so we had, let's see. Charles says D. Was a 6th. Deasley, D. I think it's a D. I think there's not much else to add other than it was just a bad game. He, from the get-go, he was taking shots differently. Like, we weren't getting him in his same rhythm that he had before, where we were finding him in stride and he was taking a pretty open 3. This was more of like a, you know, he kind of struggled. He like kind of is like, do I pass it? You know what? I'm just gonna take it, and then takes it. So he was invisible. Yes, he was, Michael Che. But I think you guys were all right. Next up, last of the bench players, Jaden. Get your grades in for Jaden McDaniels. Not Jalen McDaniels, who we could have probably used more tonight. But anyways, Jaden McDaniels at 31 minutes, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 of 9 shooting. He is taking so many shots lately, and I hate it. I don't understand. He must have been told to shoot, but I hate it. He fouled out of the game with 6 fouls. Not a great night for Jaden. And C. But I guess you could make the argument, and this is probably why you guys are giving him C's, is that he was in their late minutes as well, going up against people like Joel Embiid, you know. Gerald says, Wancho, Jaden, honestly, they made a comeback just because of how terrible, like, the last 3 in a row. Yeah, he made some pretty bad plays. D is overrated by Finch, or Timberwolves fans so much. Thank you, Wombat. Oh my gosh, I've been saying this forever. Yeah, Finch got to fix those Jaden 3s. Edit D. Yeah, everybody's kind of changing their tune a little bit. Their whole comeback was based off of him. Yeah, I hate the shots. I just don't want him shooting, which is also a reason as to why we might want to move somebody. Because we have these 2 players in, like, Vanderbilt, Jaden, I guess it's just those 2, and Okogie, that's what I was thinking, where it's like all defense, no offense. And we can't have 3 of those players, you know. And Jaden might still have like a ceiling that could be reached, which is why I'd rather trade him than obviously like Vanderbilt or something like that. So yeah, I think it's fair to give him a D as well. I think I'm gonna give him higher than Beasley just because Beasley was just non-existent tonight. But I mean, you could also make the argument, like you guys are, that Jaden took us out of the game at points. So I don't know, don't like it. Anyways, I think D is fair. We'll put him in D. We're on to the starters. All right. I see we've got a few new viewers. If you're new here, leave a like on the stream. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do this after every game. Yeah, we won. D is fair. Exactly. I think that's fair. All right, on to the starters. And we're going to start with Taurean Prince, who I barely even realized was a starter tonight until, like, again, halfway through the first quarter. He played 31 minutes. He was in there in some of the overtime situations after the foul-out situations. 5 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He was 2 of 3 shooting. He hit a 3 tonight. Is it just me? Get your grades in, by the way. Is it just me, or is Taurean Prince seeming more confident on the floor, and I am having more confidence in him on the floor? I have no reason to, really, other than he's had like a couple good games. But actually, Prince did win the game. That's true. Oh my god. Taurean Prince won the game. I mean, D'Lo won the game. But that's insane. I don't think, okay, Headshot, I don't think we can give him a B. It wasn't that good of a night for him. I mean, the game-winning layup, which, however, that play was very Timberwolvesy, where it's like, oh my gosh, no, yes, I guess. Prince A1. That was Chris. Yeah, see, Gerald, that's exactly what I was like. I was like, okay, here we go. They're gonna get the ball. We're gonna have to follow them and then make a 3 again, which D'Lo will apparently do again. I think you guys are on the right track. I'm going to say C. I think this was a fine game from him. This is kind of what we expect. I mean, we don't necessarily expect a game winner from him, but we also, here it is. Right as we're talking about it. What a play. Man. He actually, I wonder if he got contact on that. Let's go back a little bit. See, did he get contact? He did get contact from Embiid on the arm. So that should have been an and one. Um, Not that really would have changed anything because it looks like Embiid was trying to go for a three here at the end of the game, which was weird. Look at Embiid. God, he's just flailing around like a fish. Anyways. Yeah, did we just do... Who did we just do? Prince. Where is Prince? I never see him. Oh, there he is. Prince is a C, and we'll put him above. Obviously, he made the game-winning shot. So, you win the game. First time finding your channel. Great place for fans, man. Here's my subscribe. Thank you, Michael Che. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We do this after every game. I know I say this all the time, but we really do. Even the really bad games. So remember last year when we lost by 50 to the Clippers? Yeah, we were here. Well, we were on Twitch, but we were here. Pretty insane. Statline must be wrong. Says 3 points scored. 1 of 3. I'm pretty sure he did hit a 3, right? Yeah, he hit a 3. I don't remember exactly when it was. I'm pretty sure he did, though. It says 3 points. Oh, 3 points scored? Yeah, yours must be wrong because mine says 5. But, yeah, I know, Michael. See, you're onto something. I thought it would be 2, and it's funny. I was thinking during the game, I was like, so if a new Timberwolves fan came along that wasn't here for the Prince-themed jerseys, then you would think that if somebody said, "Oh, I love the Prince jerseys," people are gonna think that they mean Torian Prince if they're a new fan. It's pretty wild, but yeah, insane. Anyways, Torian Prince is a C tonight. Just update on yours. Okay, good. I was gonna say I didn't understand what you were saying at first, JBX, but all right. We are on. Let's see, Charles Cobb. Man, A-Rod and Laura need to complain to the NBA about the refs. Okay, brief intermission about the refs before we get to the top 4 players of the night. The one thing I'm holding out hope for is that I know that during the season there are times when the refs get together, and I don't know if this is halfway through the season or whatnot, but they do look over film and wrong calls that they make on teams and adjust. I think if we can hope that that happens for us, because I do think every team complains about the ref on their team. It's different. Ours is different. And I know everybody probably says that too, but it truly is. We are treated differently than other teams. Touch fouls happen to us all the time, and then we get called for them on the other end. It's bogus. But that's what I'm holding out hope for. We need it. Imagine TP in the Prince jerseys. Hey, you can get him off a DH gate. You can get him off a DH gate. Actually, I should do that. I should get that off a DH gate. The Rockets are hitting everything. Hey, who are the Rockets playing? They're playing the Hornets. Oh my gosh, sorry. Sorry, 6. Yikes. That's okay. This is I didn't realize you guys had a back-to-back too. Anyways, on to the top 4. We're going to Jared Vanderbilt first. Yeah. 39 free throw attempts to 16 is unreal. You know, there's a team that fouls a lot, and then there's unfair, and this is unfair. So, all right, Jared Vanderbilt. Get your grades in for Jared Vanderbilt, one of the top players of the game for sure. I'll read off his stat line while you get it in. Jared Vanderbilt, 36 minutes, 5 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was 2 of 5 shooting, really laying in. And then, so 4 of his rebounds were offensive, 10 of them were defensive. He did foul out, but, I mean, this was a typical Vando game, and it was, it was just great. All right, we've got A1 from Headshot. Wombat says, Vando is the guy she tells you not to worry about. This is true. And we've got Headshot says A1. Wombat says A1. Charles says A. Gerald says A Vando or A1. Sixth Sense says A. Only reason I say A is because he passed out a few layups. Yeah, I kind of said that earlier, but at the same time, it's almost like, do we trust Vando with those shots? You know, it's a little tricky. You know, I think Vando's getting cursed a little bit right now because he's played so well for us. This is a great game from Vando for sure. But is this going to be a game that we never forget from Vando? That's A1. A1 is we'll never forget the game. You know, that's like the Ant and Cat 40-point games. That's the Ant game where he hit the dunk that we're going to still call as a dunk over whoever that guy was, Vincent on the Heat. That's an A1 game. You know, this game was great from him, but I don't think I can give him A1. I think he actually, yeah. So good point. He actually does have a good free throw. Vando's decent at free throws, anyways. Um, I think this is an A performance from Vando. Maybe A plus. I don't think it's A1 because I don't think I'm gonna remember. I mean, I remember every Timberwolves game forever, so that's kind of a bad metric to use. But you know, we're talking like all time performances. Derrick Rose 50-point game, stuff like that. So I think A is fair if we're going off of that. Um, I never forget any of Vando's game. True. The only reason I'm saying is A1 because when Vando had foul trouble, we blew a 15-point lead. Yeah, I mean that's true, and he is essential. You know, without Vando, we don't win this game. Um, we don't win any of the last like 6 out of 7 games that we've won. You know, Vando is so key for our team, and immediately when he came back in, you could tell the difference, and it was just like, yep, this is Vando. I think it's still going to be A. I'm going to give him A. You guys can give me a hard time in the comments. I'm sorry. I just don't think it's A1 yet. A1 would be like if he had these 14 rebounds, all these hustle plays, and he was also like it's perfect. You know, it's got to be so perfect to be an A1 game. But it is a fantastic game. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with the game, but it could have been better. You know, there could have been other things that were better. So I'm pretty strong with the A. I don't think it's an A1. A1's reserved for insane games, like somebody we might talk about later. So, anyways, we're gonna go on to let's do Ant next. We're gonna do Ant, Towns, and then D'Lo. So Ant, get your grades in for Ant. He played the most minutes tonight. He had 47 minutes, almost 48. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, a block, the block at the end of the game, if they counted that as a block. 6 of 21 shooting, so not a great efficiency. 1 of 8 from 3. 4 turnovers, only 1 personal foul, and led the team in plus minus. So, for Ant, we've got, let's see, A plus. 21-14 type of game is A1. What are you talking about? 21-14 type of game is A1. I'm not sure what you mean 6. I'm sure I'm just misunderstanding. But let's see. Ant is a B, but I hate the fact that the entire time the team decided not to pass the ball to him. Yeah, B for Ant, C for Ant, B minus. It's kind of an interesting game. I think he somewhat salvaged my view of him on that last play, because before that he was struggling to get anything going. He was just non-existent out there for a lot of the game, but then there's moments of the game where he's just undeniable and he's finishing at the rim around these huge defenders like Drummond and Embiid, where he's finishing with like such finesse. But, you know, there's just these times where he's totally non-existent. Needs better shot. Hey, Jacob, welcome back. Ant struggled late, but the game-winning block was huge. So huge. Needs better IQ. Yeah, he does this thing. Luckily he's skilled because he does the thing where he like does step back threes and he's trying to like get around defenders. He still needs to learn a little bit about how to drive and pass out, because right now he's driving to try to get the layup and then he's got 3 defenders on him. He's got an open man. If that's D'Lo, right now this is why the Jaden situation is becoming interesting, because we don't want him passing out to Jaden, which is unfortunately the guy that's open. But he does need some calls as well. That is true. That is very true, Wombat. Wombat, did you just get a chat deleted? Or did you delete it? Because I didn't do that. He was going downhill. Yeah, he shouldn't be. And he threw up a lot of layups that were not good. I think, you know, there was redeeming qualities of Ant's game in the beginning and the very end, but the middle was just nothing, you know? His outside shot is still bad. 3-point shot at the end of regulation. Yeah, I was kind of excited for that because I think if he makes that, that's such a huge confidence boost to him. So I was kind of, especially when it's a tie game and you know you're going to at least have overtime, given obviously the pendulum was shifting much more to the 76ers at that point, I still was kind of okay with that. But obviously D'Lo would have been the shot taker, should have been the shot taker there. That limits Ant's drive and Towns can't dominate smaller matchups. Yeah, I mean, Towns is just struggling with the smalls anyways. But anyways, I think for Ant tonight, what is it, a C or a B? What did you guys say? You guys said B minus, B minus, C minus, or C, I think Gerald says. B for Ant. We're going to go with a low B. It looks like most of you guys had Bs, so we'll put them in a B. All right. We've got a shit ton of you guys here right now. So if you guys are new, did I say B? I think I said B. If you're new to the stream, leave a like on the stream, subscribe to the stream. We had Michael Che and Austin subscribe already. And I don't know why, but Michael Che's didn't show up. So I'm sorry, I don't know why it didn't show up. But I'll repeat Austin's. Maybe. Didn't work. Maybe I can repeat Six's. Nope, didn't work either. Maybe it's down. Sorry. Anyways. Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat, kind of in the middle of like C plus, B minus. But on to the next player. We got the top two players. Well, maybe the top two players. Yeah, the top two players tonight. Karl Anthony Towns took on Joel Embiid again. And even though Embiid had the better stats because of all the foul calls that he got, I think it's just safe to say that Towns just dominates Embiid. He just does. Embiid has a hard time on him, even when when guarding him. Towns on offense is quicker than Embiid. Embiid can't really catch up to him, so Towns has the ability to drive a little bit. Towns is a better perimeter shot maker than him. I think it's just a terrible matchup for Embiid. I think they're both incredible players, but I think for Embiid, this is just the worst possible matchup and the worst possible person to pick a rivalry with. Not that he really views it probably as that much of a rivalry, but I mean, I guess they did have a fist fight. But so we've got Charles saying A. 6 says A minus. A for Karl. He did his best without touching that man. Yeah. B. Towns was seconds away from game-losing tech. That is true. He did have some late game things where I was like, is he giving up? Like, is he giving up on the game? But that was scary. The refs did help Joel. I think this was a really good game from Towns. I mean, he was perfect from the line. Again, like his shooting percentage this season has got to be mind-blowingly insane, because obviously there was a season where like DeAndre Jordan had like 70% or something like that, but it was all just like lob dunks and layups. Towns is shooting like 60%, 50 to 60% on threes and like long twos. Like he's doing it all. I think he's an A tonight. I think Towns is an A, kind of mid-A today. This was a good game from Towns. We didn't have anything too crazy from him. I think there might have been one kind of fancy pass that I didn't like. But he is somewhat starting to reel those in. I still think Towns has decision making that sometimes is maybe a little, it's weird to say this, but like selfish in ways. It's less about the team. I think he thinks it's about the team, and that's why it seems like he's really hustling. But I think that there's moments when he is taking away from the team. At the same time, though, he only had 16 shots, and he made 11 of them. So there's kind of the part of you that wants him to take more shots. But I think what it is that I want him to be taking more 3-point shots. And I want us to be finding him open for 3 to take those shots. Because instead he has to work for those in the post. And like he's just not as skilled at doing that as like Joel Embiid. So I think A is fair for him. Yeah, I think Towns has just never learned how to win. Yeah, I think that's kind of part of it. And that's why I hope that this team can start to win. And I think Steph Curry said this earlier this year. He's like, hey, if we can win and still learn along the way, that's a W. And that is what we need. We need Towns to be learning how to win, and Ant and D'Lo to win while winning. That's what needs to happen. So, man, need another body in OT? Yes, we do. Miles Turner incoming? No. Cat could not touch Joel. He can't. I know. It's so frustrating because like Joel can kind of do anything. Not that Joel's like, I guess he kind of is. It's interesting. It's just bad. It's just bad refs. And Towns has never got the benefit of the call. I don't know if that's because he was a whiner about calls at a point or what, but either way, Towns is an A. We are almost at 20 viewers. My goodness. Thank you for everybody for stopping by. Leave a like on the stream. Subscribe if you haven't. And if they were ref the same, Cat would be getting like 40 points a game. 40 points a game. We'd be winning games left and right. We'd be the 2 or 3 seed right now. No doubt. Yeah, Cat 3-point percentage 44%. He needs to be shooting more threes. Exactly. And I think part of that is because right now the threes that he's taking are very disciplined. You know, he's taking threes that he's only confident in. And I think that's one thing that he has shown throughout his career as a good progression. He has started off just taking a lot of threes and taking a lot of shots in general. And now with his threes, he's become very like conservative with them because he only shot 5 tonight, but he made 3. So he does that where so if we can get him open shots, and this is where Ant and D'Lo come into play, because if Ant and D'Lo can be on at the same time, that opens up these shots for Towns. So his shot selection is A1 this year. I agree. I think there's times when he drives to the basket just too crazily, but his actual shot selection is good. Towns is an A tonight. I thought he did really good. He didn't have any assists. Kind of interesting. Not necessarily. I guess in the beginning of the game he was pretty aggressive against Embiid because he knows he can beat Embiid. He just knows he can. So, anyways, all right. Well, Towns is an A. Everybody know who's up next. He only had 2 to 3 bad 3-point shootings. Let's see. Towns needs to shoot 10 plus threes. Holy cow. Yeah, I think there should be occasional games where we do get 10 3-pointers from Towns. And I don't think that's actually that crazy to say. I know you guys are kind of clowning on Jacob, but I think that's actually closer to accurate. I think 10 threes. I mean, D'Lo took 10 threes and made 6 of them. I think Towns can do that. I think Towns can do that even contested. I think it's possible. So I'd rather have that than his crazy flailing arms to the wacky inflatable flailing arm tomb bend or whatever it is. He does that. It's insane. But we're on to D'Lo. Headshot's already beaten it. But yeah, D'Angelo Russell, get your grades in. I already know it's going to be. D'Angelo Russell played 43 minutes, 35 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 13 of 25 from the field, 6 of 10, like I just said, from 3. He did have 4 personal fouls. He did have 5 turnovers, but he hit clutch shot after clutch shot. I mean, Jacob says, have my children tier. A1 from 6, A1 from headshot, Wancho from Wombat, ice cold A1, ice in the veins. I mean, this is an A1 game. There is nothing anyone could say to persuade me elsewise. This was his best game of the season, and I think the most exciting part about this is that I think D'Lo's on now. I think he is ready, and this is a D'Lo that we can maybe expect for the rest of the season. No brainer. Yep, of course. Those game winners should be A1 by itself. Yeah. Will we be getting Timberwolves videos at the trade deadline? Yeah, oh, definitely. We'll be doing probably some trade shows and stuff like that. We actually might even be live during the trade deadline. Depending on how active it seems the Wolves are going to be, because if we hear rumblings of things happening, we'll be live. But if it's nothing. But Baylor Hagen says people forget about his steal. Yes, he had a crazy steal in, was that the second overtime or was it the first one? Insane. Wombat, shut up. But yeah, no, people forget. By the way, Wombat, I don't know if you're deleting these messages, but I am not deleting these messages for you, so don't think it's me. But the steal was crazy, and D'Lo's defense this year. D'Lo, and he had 2 steals? Yeah, 2 steals and 2 blocks. Pretty wild. By the way, welcome to the chat, Baylor. Rated R. Let's see. That was to get the Prince layup. Yeah, that was to get the game-winning shot. Oh my goodness. Yeah, D'Lo is okay. I think D'Lo is really turning into something special for the Timberwolves, and I think there's been glimpses of that in Brooklyn. Brought him to the playoffs. I mean, with Golden State, he was kind of a tank master, but I think he's showing that he can be a winning point guard, which isn't something that I believed going into the season. So don't think that I'm some D'Lo homer. I think D'Lo is showing that he is a winning point guard. Did I say quarterback? Point guard. And it's just great to see. All of the D'Lo stands have stuck with him for so many years. They deserve credit. I know we gave him credit before, but man, D'Lo is A1 tonight. No doubt in my mind. Best game of the year for him. Best game of the year. Let's see. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. I think D'Lo still led. I think you're right. Let's see. Under KD and LeBron. I had 0 confidence in that Prince layup. Yep, Jacob, we were talking about that earlier. I had 0 confidence as we speak. This keeps happening as we talk about it. It's so weird. I think the Wiggins D'Lo trade was even, to be honest. Wiggins is popping off for the Warriors somewhat, and I do think that it's more so that like when Clay comes back, what's Wiggins going to be, and is he a max player at that point? Because like, and that's the reason that we didn't want Wiggins, is because he's a max player, not giving us max value. So I think he's a valuable player for sure, and I think he'll be a great addition once Clay comes back. He'll be a good option, but it'll be interesting to see. I think it was a fair trade. I wish we would have had protections on that pick, because if we have Evan Mobley, I have almost no complaints about this team. You know, if we have Evan Mobley plus all the players that we have right now, and maybe instead of like Nathan Knight, it's Evan Mobley. Oh my God, this is like the perfect team, right? Insane. Cat's last fall was so soft. Yeah, I mean, all the cat falls are pretty soft. It's just frustrating to have it only be one way. Balmaro is A1. You know what is A1? Finch putting him in the first quarter. I'm not gonna give Finch a grade tonight just because I don't know. I don't like grading the coaches anymore. But yeah. The pick on top of it definitely helps. But man, that would have been really nice to have an Evan Mobley or something like that. Wow. Well, what a game. What a game. And what a tier list, right? Finch gets a C. I love that the people are calling Coach Finch Finchy. Pat Bev tweet, give credit to Coach Finchy, my guy. Okay. He needs to be A1. Interesting. I think he had mistakes tonight, but I think overall this was a pretty good balance, and like he trusted players in the right moments. He trusted Balmaro, which was great for us at times. Man, pretty insane. Well, what a game. Feels wrong to end the show, but I think we are coming to that point. We're at the hour. If you're new here, leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Sorry that the alerts aren't showing up. I'm trying to get Austin's to show up. Let me see if that shows up now. Hey, there's Austin's again. Perfect. So yeah, if you're new here, leave a subscription. But yeah, Finchy carried Balmaro. I hope we see more Balmaro, and I hope that we also, so we play against the Pacers. The Pacers will be interesting. And then we go up against the Pacers we should win against. And maybe they can just leave Miles Turner behind when they come. You got to pull up the schedule. The schedule. We got up to 20 viewers. Thank you, everybody. That's crazy. I don't think we've had 20. We've only had over 20 on Twitch. So, okay, so we play the Pacers. We play the Wizards. Then we play the Nets. That'll be a weird one. And then we go kind of into a stretch of pretty tough games. Atlanta, Utah, and the Cavs. Those three will be interesting, but they're all home games. So, Pacers, Nets, Hawks. Yeah, that'll be tricky. Sneak them onto our plane. Sabonis. Hey, Sabonis. I like Sabonis too, but they're not going to get rid of Sabonis. We'll get him in foul trouble. I think so. And he's a little bit, he's not small, but like it's interesting. Yeah, so what do we think? Big couple weeks coming up. If we stay 500, I'm on board 1,000%. 52 wins. It's Gerald Becker's sign off, basically. If Turner was playing, then put Towns on Turner. Man, we sweep Utah. We own Utah. We do kind of own Utah. And they're not playing great right now. I mean, right now they're beating the Pelicans, but they're only 12-7 on the year. And then the Hawks actually lost to the Knicks tonight. The Hawks are only 11-10. I thought they were better this year. He's got that farm strength. Yes, he does. Man, oh man. Well, what a game. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm going to go bask in the glory, probably rewatch the game. Yeah, it was super fun to watch, And the Timberwolves, your Timberwolves, our Timberwolves are 500. Let's see. What are you guys doing after the stream, out of curiosity? Oh, all of us? Man. I don't know. Is there anybody else? I wish I could, raid somebody else. I know there's other people. I know there's Timberwolves Daily that does a show after the games a lot of the time. You could go listen to, the C&D pod. They have a podcast. I don't know if Dane Moore did his podcast after tonight, but he's already Showtime. So we're kind of trying to help out the smaller creators. Who else we got? Just basically look at zone coverage, rewatch the game. Twitter is going to be on my phone probably all night. Play some Call of Duty maybe, I'll get some Vanguard in, level up the guns before Warzone Pacific. But yeah. Anyways, I appreciate it, Jacob. I appreciate you all for showing up. I will be back after Monday, but on Monday, there is going to be I'm going to be at the game, so there's going to be a slight delay in the starting time. But as always, just subscribe, put the notification bell on, and then you'll know when we're live. We also do it on Twitter, so if you could put the noties on for Twitter, but Twitter noties are going to get obnoxious probably. So just do the bell here instead, and then yeah. So we'll be back. You guys know the tradition. We're playing the intro as the outro. Thank you, Jeremiah. I will see you Monday night. Adios, everybody.